Hey everybody, welcome to my book launch. This isn't exactly the way I had ever envisioned it, but it's pretty fantastic. I see so many people already on here. I recognize so many of the names. It seems like there's a lot of friends and a lot of students here. I'd like to thank, oh, Michael, you're a little covered. Let me see if I can fix this for a second. This is Michael, Mr. Colby, for some of you guys.
Oh no, technical difficulties.
So he's going to be here as my facilitator to help me manage some of the questions. I am also really fortunate to have audio only right now at this moment. My fantastic agent, Deborah Warren, and I think Deborah wanted to say a few words to get us started. Are you ready, Deborah?
I am. So Ernesto and I are honored and thrilled, and we've waited for this day for, I don't know, has it really been 14 years? Well, good things come to those who wait and who work and practice their arts like Ernesto. And I look to place my authors and illustrators with the very best publishers, with the very best editors. And this has been accomplished. Perhaps even at the right time. Well, that could be debated. But accolades to you, Ernesto, for just jumping in there and creating all of these digital launches and spaces for you to promote the book without any sort of, woe is me about what's happened. Obviously, it's not the best thing for the launch of the book, but I believe in you. I believe in the book. The word will get out. The book is strong and stands on its own. You have something very important to say. The world will be better having you in it and having the book in it. So hats off to you. I'm so proud of you. I'm thrilled. I'm honored to be a part of your world.
Well, I would like just thank you so much for those kind words, and I'd like to thank everybody and just take this opportunity. Thank you publicly. For people who don't know, a long time ago, I met Deborah at one of the Meet Agents Day, and she selected my work. And at the time, I think I only had like 15 pages, and she was so encouraging. And every a year would pass, and I would email her, and I would say, I'm not quite there, I'm not ready yet. And she patiently waited for me to be ready. And she said, you go hone your craft, and I will be here waiting. And she kept her promise, and she waited for me. So I owe you everything, Deborah. Thank you so much.
Gosh. No. I wouldn't be here without you. It's a great team.
It is. Thank you. I'd also like to take this moment to thank a couple other people real quick. I know when people start going down the list, it's not very exciting, but I feel like I kind of have to. First person I'd like to thank, in addition to Deborah, I'd like to thank Rosemary Brosnan and Jessica McLeish, who helped me edit the book. Without them, the book would not have been what it is today. There were so many holes in there, so much work that had to be done. And they were inspirational throughout the whole process. They kept me motivated. They guided me. Honestly, I owe them everything. The HarperCollins family, Nicole Moreno, Rita Perez, Gwyneth Morden, Alexandra, I'm going to butcher the last name, Rakatsky. I thank you guys all. I'd like to thank everybody at work too. Michael, thank you so much for always being supportive, and Sandra Rubio, Miss Carrie, Juana Cordova. You guys always treated me like you guys didn't look at me like I was crazy when I was, saying that I was writing a book. You guys are always very encouraging, and that meant the world to me. Denise Deegan and Susan Lipson, thank you guys so much for helping me get the book ready so we can send it out. And also, I'd like to thank Jay Bennett, who actually designed the cover. They say we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but we all know that we all do that. And this cover is absolutely brilliant. And without this cover, I don't think that EFREN would be getting the attention that it is. So, Jay, if you're out there listening, you're amazing. And I owe you so much for this beautiful, beautiful gift. So we're going to go ahead and get started with some questions. Deborah, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. If you want to stay tuned in, you feel free to make some comments. And we're going to start with some question and answers with Michael. Thank you for stopping by, Deborah.
Oh, you bet.
Thanks, Deborah.
All right, Michael, can you still hear me?
I can.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I know there's a lot of amazing things, comments coming my way right now. Here's one from one of my former students. Can you believe that?
Yeah, Andre Martinez, great. Hope you guys pre-order your books. We'll be picking them up today. Nice.
Yeah, very encouraging. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with some questions, and we're going to open it up to everybody else, okay? So hopefully that works for everybody, and let's get rocking here. So let's see. Michael, you had a question for me, right?
Yeah. A comment on Twitter I keep seeing over and over is that this book needs to be in every classroom and library in America. Why do you think this story is resonating in such a powerful way for all of your readers?
I think that the world is seeing how unfair the minorities are being portrayed, the narrative that's being drawn about in regards to us. I think they're kind of fed up, and I think that they're ready to do something about it. And I think when they find a book that's authentic and meaningful, I think they're showing the support. So I think it's a great showing of the times right now. You have a second question for me?
Yeah, something that came up. So I was lucky. I was able to read an advanced copy of your book, and we've talked about responsibility, EFREN's responsibility for his siblings, Papa's responsibility for his family, Mama's responsibility to her return to her family. And something that I wanted to know was, did you feel a responsibility to tell this story, to tell EFREN's story?
Most definitely. I definitely did. At the time of the elections and things are going on, I had a couple students who were losing family members. They're being deported mid-year in the middle of the school year, and I saw the effects of it. And it was very difficult to stand there and not do anything. So as an aspiring author, I just felt obligated that I had to do something about it and create a voice for a lot of the kids who don't have a voice right now. So, yeah. All right, you have
a big responsibility.
It is.
So uncertainty plays a role in this book, and it almost seemed like it was a character. The uncertainty of Jennifer's school year, if Papa will come home at night, where EFREN and his siblings will get their next meal. Is there an uncertainty that you have experienced or seen your students experience that lent yourself to this idea?
Yeah. You know, what's kind of interesting is that right now we're all a little scared to go outside. We're not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, what the future is going to bring. And then it's kind of unfortunate. This is kind of the way the life is for a lot of undocumented families out there. They're not sure that when the mom or dad go outside to the supermarket that they're not going to be arrested and taken away. So yeah, I know it's a very difficult time right now. I know that the kids are really strong, and I see some amazing. My students are amazing. I just want them all to know they're going to be fine. The reason why EFREN was born was because he was pretty much a friend to help them kind of get through these times. Let's see. I think. Do you have one more question?
I think I have one last one for you. Besides, before we get to some of those comments, how did you find the balance of addressing our current political climate with the telling of a larger, a universal story?
You know, as I was listening to the narrative being drawn, everything was being said about immigrant families. I I definitely wanted to respond to that, but I felt that the best way for me to do that was not to get political. I be a disservice to the story. I wanted to write the story pure. I wanted to write it to be better than the narrative. And so my philosophy with that was pretty much I was gonna I was gonna share with America the story of an immigrant family, and because a lot of people, it's a lot easier to hate people you don't know, and I wanted to introduce a family so the world could see them too, so they could meet them and make up their own minds at that point. So yeah, with the exception of one little moment, I think the book, and you know which one it is. I think that's the only time I allowed myself one little hint of political, of my opinion on that point.
Well, I feel like you stayed above the fray, and the words that you use were above just our current circumstances. It felt large, so thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you have another question.
Yeah, what influences helped you as you developed the character of EFREN? He's so rich, and there's depth. So what influences?
Quite honestly, I needed to make. I wanted EFREN. I wanted to show the world how special EFREN was, and so I had a little. I put out a secret weapon, and that was my son, Isaac. Ever since he's been little, we'd go to supermarkets and complete strangers would come over and just like hand them treats or money. We were at a restaurant and somebody bought him a whole pie and just said, I just wanted to let you know how amazing your son is. When we go to the stores, he'll stand at the door and he'll open the door for strangers, and he'll just stay there, and he kind of gets locked, and before you know, it's like, okay, been out there for 2-3 minutes. That's just the kind of person he is. He's got a huge heart. And so I wanted to make sure that EFREN really resonated with people. And so I borrowed a lot of that heart from my son. I just kind of asked myself, what would my son do under these circumstances?
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. I believe you had one. Nope, we already got to that one. Oh, yeah. I think you have your one last question.
I think I asked you this in person the moment that I handed you the book back the first time I read it, because I wanted to know what happens to EFREN. Is his story over? I don't know if you can talk about that, but I thought it was worth asking.
You know what? The funny thing about that is that whatever my preference is doesn't really matter, because this book is actually based on reality. And sadly, I'm not in power to answer how that's going to end. That's a question for society, for everybody out there right now. Unfortunately, America is the one that gets to decide what happens to kids like EFREN. And I'm really looking forward to a positive resolution for that at the end. Yeah. Yeah, those are great questions. Yeah. Did you want to open it up for some of the questions from our viewers right now?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of great questions, a lot of positive things on our live comment feed.
Oh, here's a comment.
Thank you, Maria Blackburn. She says that's truly beautiful.
Oh, that's really sweet. Really sweet. Okay, well, let's see what kind of questions are coming our way. Let's see. Let me start from the very top, and let's see. Oh, here's a comment from Megan.
This is from Megan Hoyt. Deborah Warren is a fab person to have on your team. So happy that you're part of the HarperCollins family. That's super nice. Scott Sussman, what's one element in the story much improved thanks to working with an editor?
Oh, there's an element in here where there's a teacher, and the teacher has kind of lost his heart. He's burnt out a little bit, and he's just has lost his way, and his relationship with EFREN kind of changes that. And that was one of the elements that I completely dropped the ball on. Every element, every layer has to have its own beginning, middle, and end. And I didn't do that very well. And both Jessica and Rosemary called me out on that, said, no, we need to complete. He needs to have his own story. And so that was probably the thing that changed the most from the story. Yes. Let's see. Do we have another one? Let's see.
Susan Flores says, very excited to read this book and share with my teacher candidates. I ordered it, but have not received it yet. I'm very proud of you, hermano.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you, Susanna. Thank you. Appreciate that.
A good question from Jose. What part of the book spoke to you the most?
To me, oh, wow. You know what? Honestly, every layer, because the way that I worked on the book was I wrote layer by layer. And so I'd be focusing on only looking at the relationship with EFREN and the father. And by the end of that, I was crying. And then I would focus on the relationship with the mother, and that had me crying. Then I focused on the relationship with the teacher, and that part had me crying. So pretty much I just cried throughout all of the most of this book. So they all spoke to me, just in different ways, which is interesting because actually everybody who reads the book tells me that they connected to a different part. I don't know, Michael, what part resonated with you?
I know we have a lot of people who haven't read it yet, but for me, about 2/3 through the book, there's multiple scenes with you introduce a new character, and we're in the backseat of a car at one point, and I love the introduction of a new character who felt like he gave the book such substance in such a short amount of time, and it was really realistic. And when you get to that part, all your readers out there, they'll know exactly what it is that I'm talking about.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. I think we have another question here. Oh, I like this one.
So this is from Mia Ramirez. Mia asks, what would you say to a younger person who aspires to be a writer?
I would say to go for it. Something growing up, I refer to this as an entitlement or lack of entitlement. And I think a lot of times when we're Latino, we feel that we're not entitled to the same success that everybody else has around us. If you want to be a writer, I would say start reading and start writing. Right now, you have a well of ideas, and as you get older, you tend to lose those a little bit. So keep a journal, and don't worry about the quality. That comes with time. The one thing you really cannot teach people, and actually take it back, you can teach it, but something that people struggle with and is very difficult to learn is to find your voice. And I think a lot of you guys have, when I see you guys, the way you guys dress, the way you guys speak, that's part of who you are. And as long as you hold on to who you are and you show us your perspective, that's really the secret to being an author. So keep reading, keep writing. Also, you have a friend here who is a published author now. So when the time comes and you're ready, I don't care if it's 10 years, 20 years, look me up, okay? I'll be there. Thank you. A very good question. Let's see.
Oh, wow. This is a great one from Jesus. So Jesus says, hey, Mr. C, big fan. Would it be possible to make your book the summer reading book for high school students?
That's out of my control, but if you guys would like to let your principals know at your school, that would be highly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ooh, this one, I know this person. Hi, Lisa. How you doing? She just congrats on your book birthday. Thank you so much. You know what it's like. Thank you. You've always been very supportive, and I really appreciate everything. Thank you. Let's see. Do we have a question? Here's another one.
Oh, this is a good one. I saw this one in the comments. This is from Scott. Do you have any writing rituals?
You know what? I do, and they change. It seems to be that things work for a while, and then you kind of have to find something new, something refreshing. Something that I'll do is I'll show you right now. 5 seconds.
Uh-oh.
And I'm back. One of my rituals is that I'll put on my writer's hat. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to kind of transform myself and to change modes. So instead of being right now, when I come home, I'm either going to be I'm in father mode, I'm in teacher mode, or I'm in author mode. It's really the only modes that I have. And so when I put on my hat, I transform, and I'm like, okay, now I'm focused, and this is where my brain needs to go. And so I'll do that. Sometimes I have a little candle that my friend Bev gave me, and I turn it on. Sometimes I'll turn on some music. Sometimes it's grating some chips and some, guacamole next to me. There's certain things that just kind of really click with me, and it doesn't matter what they are, as long as you kind of keep them and you make it a routine. They actually really help you to get yourself focused and ready to go. Thank you. Great question.
Do you have a hat for all the other roles that you play?
You know what? I had another one. It was for for drama production. But I think it was my son that got sick and he threw up on the hat. So I don't have that one anymore. But yeah.
I saw this question on the comments, and I'm really glad we chose this one. How did writing, this comes from Itzel, how did writing the book affect you on an emotional level? Because I know that as a reader, how it affected me, where I was when I was reading it. But as a writer, how did it affect you emotionally?
It was pretty devastating, actually. On the emotional, I was a wreck during a lot of the parts when I would write this. Yeah, it was really, really tough to write. I mean, you can't really address the issue without being honest. And my agent calls this underwear writing, where you kind of don't hold back and you kind of reveal everything. And I always channel the characters. So seeing the mom in the book, who's based on my own real mom, struggle was really difficult for me. Watching EFREN, who's based on my son, struggle was really difficult. It was really, really exhausting, to be honest. There's times that I'd finish writing late and at night, and I couldn't go to sleep. I was just, yeah, it was draining. I'll be honest, but it's been worth it. It's definitely been worth it. Oh, here's another question, a great one.
This one's from Kathleen. This is something that I've asked you in the past, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know. Do you talk to your students about writing, since you are a teacher?
Yes, I do, all the time. I want them to see how much I struggle. I want them to see me fail. I want them to see how horrible my ideas are. Sometimes there's kids who help me with the editing process, and they are super awesome about telling me how horrible my writing is, and telling me how the perspective is off, and it's great. I want them to know that it doesn't come easy. Writing is difficult, and it takes a community. And so honestly, they're the best community I have, because one, they keep me current. They tell me, no, Mr. C, you can't use that word anymore. We don't use it anymore. And two, just having the kids there watching me, they hold me accountable. I think that's the best part. I can't give up when these kids are watching me. That would be the worst lesson I could ever teach as a teacher. The best lesson would be for them to see me struggle, so that they know what it's like and what it takes to be successful in life. Oh, I know this person.
Okay, this is from Edgar. Edgar asks, how would you explain your book to people not in our communities that may be coming across your book and don't know the background? And I think this is a really great question, because, when we eventually do go back to our indie bookstores or to our Barnes and Nobles, somebody is going to come across this book. They're going to be walking down that aisle, and I know it's going to be facing out, and they're going to come across this book. How would you explain it to people not in our communities?
I think that's actually one of the biggest. I mean, that was my hope with this book. If you look at the beginning of the book, they always recommend you don't start with somebody waking up. It's not very exciting to get all the description of the setting, and so I did my best to make it exciting. But that's exactly what it is. This book is a window book for those people. It's so that they can take a look inside and get to meet real Latinos, a real authentic Latino family, to see that we're not the horrible things that the president says about us. And so they can make up their minds. Again, it's a lot easier to dislike people you don't know. So my approach was, if you would like to see what an immigrant family is really like, purchase this book and then make up your mind. And I think you're going to be surprised that we're more alike than we are different. Good question, mysterious person who I don't know. I know this
From
person.
Erin. Yeah, from Erin. She says, congrats, Ernesto. What surprised you about your characters while you were writing this book? So this goes back to the writing process.
You know what? A lot of things surprised me about them. Like I said, I don't know if I said it today, but for this book, I didn't plot. I just wrote. And so I would sit in front of the computer, and the characters are very real to me. So I just kind of put them in a situation, and they get to react. So pretty much everything they did was a surprise to me. I was surprised by how strong EFREN was, how dedicated the parents were, the siblings. I mean, there was so much strength and resilience, so much hope with the family. Honestly, when I did finish the book, I was left devastated. I just didn't know what to do, because I know the ending that I would like to have, and you know, everything about the character surprised me, and I hope it does the same for you guys.
Jesper's got a good comment here, and this is something that that we talked a lot about. Maybe talk about the value of going to Tijuana to better develop that scene.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I got everything correct. When I was a kid, we used to go there a lot. With my teacher friends, we used to go to Rosarito. The times have changed, and I hadn't been there in a while, and I wanted to make sure we got everything correct. So I went there with one of my best friends, and I went there and took pictures and got to walk around and just make sure that everything was authentic. And as I walked there, my heart broke that day. Just the level of poverty that's there. I think the biggest thing that people don't realize about TJ, Tijuana, Mexico, is that there's a lot of families who aren't from there, and that's not their culture. That's not where they belong, and they're forced to live there. I know so many families who have parents. I hope I don't get emotional during this time, but they have parents, and they actually will stay and they'll live there because that's the only way they're going to be able to see their kids. So for my students who are here right now, if you guys want a little extra credit assignment, look up, do a little bit of research on Friendship Park in San Diego. And I want you to see how some of the families are forced to see their parents, and how this is the finger touch, and how basically one finger through the fence is the only connection they're ever going to have with their parents for the time being. And so it was really difficult to see, because when I went there, I'd see people with their chairs, and they were just camping out, waiting for the opportunity to see loved ones. And it was heartbreaking. It really was. Oh, here's a comment.
Melanie says, crying your way through edits is a time-honored tradition.
It is. I believe it. I truly believe that. Oh, here's another question.
Yeah, this is another good one by Itzel. How was your life schedule while writing the book? Stressing, crazy, calm, exciting? What were you going through during these writing times?
I'd say it was a little bit of everything. There's one moment where I'm truly excited. Then I'm just so equal frustrated. I'm walking around the hallways. I'm sure you've probably seen me like a lunatic going down the halls up and down, just trying to figure out how to find a resolution to a scene. Yeah, it's everything. It is exhausting. It is a lot of work. Again, having the kids asking me every day how my writing is going, and say, "Oh, I look forward to seeing your next 10 pages." That's really what got me through all this.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's a really important part. Mm-hmm. Mary and Steph, the librarian bookends, they write in, this book is so important for teaching kids how to understand where others are coming from. What other books have you read that would help readers develop empathy?
Oh, wow. It's always challenging when people put me in a spot with books like that, because there's so many of them. They're just amazing. I'm working on a list. I'm going to be posting up on my website shortly, and it's going to be exactly answering this question, because there are so many fantastic books out there right now that I really don't want to leave anybody out. But that is an amazing question, and I will be answering it via link. Thank you.
This is coming in from Elizabeth. Ernesto, you're entitled to all the success that this book will bring you. Thank you for giving a voice to so many people who feel as though they have no voice. I saw so many of my kids in this book.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to respond to that one. Just thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It makes all those long hours and all the craziness I went through worth it. Thank you.
This is from Naomi. Yes, yes, yes. And she's agreeing. The most important thing, writers, is to share your voice, your unique voice. Ernesto, thank you so much for inspiring our youth writers.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for all the work that you do. Naomi has an organization that she helps publish young authors. So if anybody here would like, has dreams of becoming a professional author, this is the person to see. So see me and I'll give you her information. Thank you, Naomi.
This one's coming in. Are you going to make next year's students read the book for class? And I think this is a serious question.
No, I'm never going to force anybody to read the story. I would be honored if people choose to read it on their own, though. That would be fantastic. But thank you. I had professors that made me do that, but no, I won't be doing that. Let's see.
So this is a comment that I've seen kind of echoed with a lot of different people, and they're asking a version of this question. And I thank you, David, for writing this in. Are you excited for the emotional connections your book is going to make throughout the future? Because your book is it's already resonated with people that have read it. It's going to be in classrooms, libraries, all across our world. So are you excited for all these connections, emotional, that your book is going to make with our future?
Yes, and quite honestly, it's been one of the most rewarding aspects of this whole process. I've received a lot of direct messages from teachers, people who work with children, and a lot of them, it's about kids who have stories just like EFREN's, and these are messages coming from across the country. And my book's barely releasing today, and just with the arcs and some of the buzz going around, a lot of the people it's already been reaching a couple of people, and just hearing about those stories is just it's amazing. It puts a lot of pressure on me too. I'm not a person that likes attention, but it's really not about me. It's about the EFREN Divided and bringing a little bit more attention to the issue at hand, and changing the narrative that's being created about Latinos. So I'm really excited about just being able to reach so many people. Yeah, I mean, it's humbling, to say the least. Oh, here's a comment I think deserves to be on here.
This is coming in from Beverly. I bought the book at Whale of the Tail in Irvine.
And you know what? They are going to be doing pickup sales there. So if anybody would like to get the book, Alex is going to be waiting. I'll put something on my website too. But support your independent bookstores. Right now, it's very difficult times for everybody. And if we don't want to lose them, and we have very few of them left, we really need to support them. So if you are going to be ordering the book, I ask that Whale of a Tail is one of the best bookstores you're going to find. So definitely thank you, Bev, for shopping there.
Yeah, and a shout out to all the indie stores out there, especially during these times. This comes in from Eric. How would you like teachers to utilize this book in the classroom? Would you like to see it read in ELA, social studies, some kind of combination? What do you think? I
would say definitely in combination. I think that it could be utilized in so many different ways. Social studies for sure, language arts as well. Yeah, there's so many different ways to apply it. I think it would lead to a lot of really good conversations and discussions in the classroom. And I think one of the reasons why I want to see it in the classroom is pretty much because of the cover. This is a great illustration of it. So as a teacher, I think there's a lot of teachers, and we see kids who we see them a certain way. And we sometimes forget that there's a lot of things going around in their private lives, and things that make it very difficult. So we're very quick to label kids at-risk kids, and really they're not at risk, or they're not low performing. They're surviving, and they're surviving and through experiences that would challenge us. So I believe that it needs to be in the classroom, not just for the kids, but also for the teachers. Thank you for that question. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
There's a lot of really great comments and questions out there. It's hard to pick just one.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, but something that a lot of the comments are echoing, and one of the first questions that I had for you was about curriculum and about a teacher's guide. So Kathleen puts it oh so well. Are you putting together a teacher's guide?
Yes, I am. I am definitely putting one together, and that I can't give you a date. I don't want to commit to that, but I am working on one. And what I'm probably going to be doing is I'm probably going to be pacing myself a little bit, so that'll be added to my website soon. And it's probably going to be different activities for the beginning. Like I'll be adding things chapter by chapter. So chapter 1 lesson, the first one that I'm working on right now is, for example, when you start up a story as an author, you struggle to find out, well, what point of view are you going to be using? What tense? And what would happen? Each one is different, and each one is very unique, and they each have pros and cons to them. So one of the activities I'm doing is having the kids changing the tense and the point of view of the story. Because if you really just learn, the terms, it doesn't really accomplish anything. You have to learn how to apply them. So that's one of the first activities that's going to be, I'll put on my website. But yes, thank you. It's a very good question. Oh,
this one coming in from a colleague of yours. Congratulations, Mr. C. We are so blessed to have such an amazing writer and teacher at Mendez. Our students are so lucky. I look forward to the day your book is read by every teenager in Santa Ana.
Wow, that's really sweet. Wow. I don't know how to respond to that, but thank you so much. Thank you, Cassandra. I appreciate the support. Thank you.
David writes in, if I'm not your student anymore, can I still get the extra credit?
Sure. I'm not sure how that would work out, but you know what? It's nice that former students are tuning in too. I really appreciate that. There's nothing better than hearing from former students.
I love the avatar here, and this seems like it's a lot of people in these comments. They're using this, and it relates to your book cover. What advice? This is from Lizette. What advice do you have to all the EFRENs of the world?
Wow, I just want them to know that they're not alone, and that there's people out there who will support you. If you look at just all the support that EFREN Divide has already gotten, there's a lot of people that actually do care about you guys. So reach out to people who you trust at school and in your church, and you're not in this alone, and it's a big burden to bear by yourself. So I'd say the first thing you do is just be having somebody there to support you, somebody to talk to. I think you'll see it that will help tremendously.
What do you hope to work on next? This is a great question from Celesta coming in. What are you maybe working on, or what do you hope to work on next? Because we all know it's a process.
Yeah, it is definitely a process. I'm hoping this month in April, by the end of April, I'm hoping to finish my second, my sophomore novel. Right now it's tentatively entitled One Shot, and it's about the friendship between two boys and their best friends, and they both share two things in common. One of them is that they don't have a very strong connection to their fathers, and the second is the hope of being able to change that at the start of junior high. And so the whole book is about them wanting to transform themselves, thinking that's going to fix the problem. But
looking forward to that.
Oh, thank you. It's actually coming out pretty funny too. It's a little bit. I think with all my work, it's very serious and very, kind of comical at the same time. I have a weird blend of those. I don't know. It's part of my style, I suppose.
It's a good balance. I better see you on the news. I'm waiting for your Telemundo interview.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, if you guys want to email them, please, by all means. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Coming in from RHB, can't wait to read the new book. And I don't think I've said it yet, but I saw it all over Twitter today. Happy book birthday.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Here's one from a familiar face.
Coming in from Scott. This quote is on your teacher page at Mendez. What does it mean to you? Don't let where you came from dictate who you are, but let it be a part of who you become. Dear Abby.
It means that it doesn't matter where your background is, you are just as entitled and empowered to succeed and do whatever you want with your life. But the thing that's really important that a lot of people forget is that once you become successful, there's an obligation to return the favor and help other people with you. Just because you become successful, that's not really, I mean, that's not part of the success. The success is actually you helping other people so they can be successful too. I mean, there's no point to being successful if you're by yourself. So pretty much you just remember where you came from, so that when you do make decisions, I think that they'll be a lot more sincere, and it'll keep you humble, and it'll keep you more appreciative of the things that you have achieved in life. Great question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, we saw that comment echoed with a lot of people talking about how wonderful it is. They can't wait to read the new book. Looking forward to the second book now that you've told us about One Shot. That's exciting. Emily says, I'm excited and looking forward to your second book.
Yes, and let me see. There's one that I saw here that was another question. Oh, here's a great question.
Yeah, this one came in from Christine. How do you recommend sharing with emotionally sensitive children?
You know, when I was writing the book, I wanted to make sure that it, and that was part of the challenge. How do you take a topic that's so difficult and so emotional, and how do you write that and present it in a way that, you know, third and fourth graders are going to be able to read it? But you know, what I've learned is that kids are, because of social media and just being at school and interacting with other kids, they're a lot more aware of the problems that are in the world. And I think that sometimes we cannot shelter them completely. If you shelter them for too long, they're not gonna, when they become aware of these things, it's gonna be overwhelming for them. So I think that guiding them and having a book like this will provide people the opportunity to be able to discuss the topic better. I mean, what my recommendation is that the parents and the children should be reading the book together. As a parent, anytime there was a difficult topic to address, I thought books were the perfect avenue for that. How do you feel about that, Michael?
Yeah, that's where the conversations go. I mean, after reading this book, I wanted to, a lot of people were asking me for it. I wanted to physically share it with a lot of people. And my son is one of the people that I can't wait for him to read it as well. Those conversations at home, that's where it really starts. So that's really well said, Ernesto.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the writing process is something that a lot of your readers are interested in, because they know that you balance a couple different things in your life. This is coming in from Andre. How did publishing your first book change your process of writing?
You know, it was so difficult the whole process. There were days when I didn't think I could do this. It was kind of like being in finals at college and having finals week, except my finals week was the whole year long, and it never really ended for me. But the amazing thing about that was that I always had, and people who write books know about this, where we feel like we're frauds and we don't really know what we're doing. Yeah, it just, our confidence just doesn't, even after you publish a book. But for me, I feel so much more empowered now as an author. I feel like if I can go through that, I can go through the process again. It doesn't seem as difficult. Having Jessica and Rosemary help me with the editing. Now when I write, I have their wisdom in the back of my head to help me, and it guides me, and I can hear them telling me things like, oh no, you're forgetting this plot line, or all the things that they told me in the other manuscripts that were weaknesses of mine. Now they're always with me now when I'm writing. So yeah, definitely has changed. It has definitely changed for the better.
And having that network, that group, whether it's the Titans or anybody, I think that's really important. That's something that you've spoken to a lot of people about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another local question: is your book going to be in the Mendez Library?
You know what? It will be if you guys go back to school and you guys demand that it is. So go see. You guys can email Mr. Moreno on that one. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are amazing.
This one's coming in from Ruby. As a teacher and an author, what did you learn writing this book, and what does the title mean?
I learned a lot. There's so many different lessons. I learned a lot about myself too. I learned about what I was capable of that I wasn't sure. I learned a lot about writing. The biggest lesson I learned was that I kept taking other people's books and trying to learn from them and trying to mimic other people's writing. And at the end of the day, I actually reverted back to the way I used to write 14 years ago. When everybody told me that it was horrible and I had no talent, EFREN Divide is actually written in that same voice. So what I learned was that they were wrong. And if you just are honest and you write your style and you have your unique way of writing, that's what's going to sell eventually. As far as the title, again, I wanted to have a name that would offer friendship, and I think that's what the character is. He's a friend. He's a friend to the community, to all the kids who are experiencing similar things. That's why he has his name. As far as being divided, it's kind of sad because if everything that's going that he's experiencing right now, he's a little bit divided in his loyalties. The nation is divided right now, especially during the elections, and I think that his perspective is divided. He's a little bit torn on. I mean, he lives in America. It's supposed to be the great melting pot of the world, and here we are supposed to be, really have a lot of pride in our nation. But when the nation turns its back on you and takes away, separates you from your family, you can't help but be a little bit divided. So that's kind of where the title came from. Great question.
Oh. There's a lot in the book, physical barriers or those emotional barriers that divides different groups of people, because it's not a simple topic to write about, and you did it well.
Thank you.
This one's coming in from Jacqueline. Was there any part of the publishing process that was particularly surprising to you?
I knew it was going to be difficult, so that part didn't really surprise me. I think what the misconception that I had about the publishing was that I thought that the editors are going to be telling me how to fix things in my story, like saying you need to fix this, and this is how you're going to do it. And really, at the end of the day, you guys would just bring everything I needed to be fixed. You bring it to my attention, but ultimately, it's always my responsibility to fix those things. And it just taught me to really rely on, to have a little bit more faith in myself. I think I didn't have enough faith before, and that's something that the publishing process has given me. I'm a lot more confident now than I used to be.
This is from Alexandra. Ernesto, your goodness shines throughout the entire book. Thank you for giving readers a real understanding of the plight of immigrant families.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, this is great. From Christina. Your unboxing video with your parents was so beautiful. It made me cry. Thank you for sharing that.
It's funny. My parents, I don't think they know about that it went online.
Where can we find you, Ernesto, if we're trying to network you or find you or information about your book or anything like that?
You can find me on Twitter, author underscore Cisneros. You can also just go to my website. If you go to my website, that's the easiest thing, and it's just my name, www.ernestocisneros.com. And all my Facebook address is on there, my Twitter, everything that you need to, you'll find there. That's the best source. And as far as the video, I wanted to just publicly thank my parents for all their sacrifices. Again, when people ask me about the characters, I mean, that's where my characters are coming from. All the sacrifice that they made. My parents came to the country when they were really young. They didn't know anybody. They just, I mean, they're super heroic. I can't imagine doing what they did. And all my brothers and siblings, we've all gone to college. My mom had only gone to I believe 5th grade was as high as her education went. And so what they've achieved is just, is amazing. So when my siblings and I have all graduated from college, my mom took our diplomas and she has them at her house. And she didn't ask either. She just took them. And it was really funny because she said, you know what, I worked really hard for these. And we all agreed. And that's kind of the way I felt about the book. So this book wouldn't get written without her. So for a long time, people would always say, oh, you know what, we're not connecting with your characters. I feel like I cheated this time because I wrote about my mom. So if people are connecting to the character and you're really being appreciative of all the sacrifice they're making, it's really my mom that you're appreciating. So thank you. It means a lot to me.
Emily is voicing something for the masses out there. I'm excited and looking forward to your second book.
Oh, thank you. Me too. Me too. I'm hoping. I think you guys will like it. I really do.
Teresa Garcia, a familiar name out there, another colleague of yours. She says, Armando, that's a great idea. Translating to Spanish. Is that something that's in the works? I know a lot of people out here are asking. Armando says, congratulations, Mr. C. Are you considering writing a book in Spanish? How about translating your book into Spanish?
I would love to. There's in order to do that, it's not just being bilingual or biliterate. There's a total art that is needed. If I had more time, I would love to tackle this, but no, I don't think I can right now. So I have to have the second book to work on. I have my teaching and being a parent. I just don't have. But you know what? Most of the HarperCollins is an amazing publishing house, and they've actually have gotten this done for a lot of other authors. I'm hoping that I'll be one of them too. So
wow.
I'm crossing my fingers as well. It would be an honor to have my mom be able to read the book in Spanish. That would be amazing. It'd be a real dream come true.
Elizabeth followed up on Armando and Teresa were talking about. I think it'd be an amazing whole school read, and I'm hoping it's published in Spanish soon. Nudge, nudge, publishers. If it's already in Spanish and I'm wrong, my apologies, Elizabeth says. Maria follows it up with, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing so much of yourself today and in the book. It's heart-reaching hearts.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was difficult to write, but hearing things like this makes it a lot. It makes it worth it. It definitely does. Oh, I didn't even think about this one. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hey, this is a great question from Elizabeth. Ditto to Aaron's comment above. Favorite line, a section, and a lot of your viewers today, they were wondering if you would read a little.
I had completely forgotten about that. I could do a really short one.
Yeah, well, I think we'd all really enjoy that.
Okay. Well, this one's a little bit about the setting. So this will help you guys understand where the story takes place. And again, this is for a lot of my students right now, this pretty much takes place on Highland Street in Santa Ana, right across from the Boys and Girls Club by Pio Pico Elementary, where I taught. So a little shout out to Pio Pico. And it's going to be a total mirror book for you, so you can see yourself in books and see that you guys are worth writing about. And it's for everybody out there who isn't familiar with this type of world, it's going to be a window book for you, so that you guys get to a little sneak peek into our world. So here we go. Of all the things Ahmad did, this baffled Efren the most. How could a person who sometimes spends 78 hours a week locked in a factory behind a steaming iron go anywhere near one at home? Then again, this probably explained her talent for barehandedly flipping tortillas and carrying them to the kitchen without even a wince. Okay, mijos, time to get ready for school. Everybody knew the drill. Put on the clothes neatly laid out last night by Amma, brush teeth, comb hair, and then grab backpack with the lunch, their backpack with the lunch inside. Amma was about to hand out well-done kisses when out of nowhere a helicopter hovered and roared uncomfortably close overhead. Amma waved a fist. Aye, this is the second time in 3 weeks. Unfortunately, sometimes the nighttime activities from the neighborhood carried over into the daytime hours. Home raids, car chases, and suspects at large were all as familiar as the paletero trucks selling ice cream bars outside the church. Amma marched to the front door and locked the metal screen. Going into lockdown mode, Max and Mia shut and locked the sliding door in the back of the apartment before Amma could even ask. Again, this is kind of what we grow up in. It's very normal to us, so we just know how to do things as part of the norm. No one spoke. No one spoke a word, listening for screaming, sirens, or worse, gunfire. Amma peeked through the layered curtains she'd sewn together last night. It was just passing by. Amma had barely unlocked the doors before the twins ran past her and ran outside. Niños, don't run down the stairs. She turned to Efren, who was busy strapping on his backpack. What am I going to do with those two? She asked. Adoption, said Efren. Amma playfully slapped the back of his head before stepping outside. The twins waited by Don Ricardo's food truck parked at curbside. Can we get some chetos? And that's a little excerpt. And actually the word chetos, that's something I picked up in my classroom because that's what the kids would call them. So again, little things like that, that's where a lot of the authenticity comes in. And that's from being a teacher, listening to the kids all day long. So thank you guys for that.
Yes, chetos. Thank you, Lizette.
Yes, definitely.
And we're all very thankful to hear you read. Is the audiobook coming out?
Oh, that's actually going to be it's supposed to be out today, but it got pushed back a little bit, so it's going to be available April 7th. So April 7th, you guys are going to be able to hear it, and I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised by how amazing it is. Yeah, you guys are really, really going to like it. And you know what? I don't want to keep people here for too long. There was one more comment that I really wanted to address.
Well, we have a lot to go through right here on these amazing comments by everyone out there.
Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Hold on, here we go. I'll find this one.
So this one's in from Susanna. In about 3 weeks after my students have read it, would you be willing to talk to them? I teach at PWI and most don't understand the issues yet. I know that this book will impact future EFRENs.
You know what? One of the things about writing about this topic is that there's a huge responsibility, and it's not just mine. It belongs to society. But I would love to do my part. So yes, definitely. Again, my email is just my name, Ernesto Cisneros. Well, my website. You can go ahead and contact me through there. Yeah, we can make that happen for sure. Thank you. There was another question. I'm not finding it right now, but it was pretty much asking me if there's any people out there who I look up to, who I look to just for guidance, and I did want to address that a little bit too. And when I wrote EFREN, I wanted to make sure that I was doing a good job, that I was being authentic. And one of the blessings that has occurred was the support of the Latino X community. And so there's a couple names that if the question, and I couldn't find it right now, was who do I admire? And I needed to just thank a few people. One of them is Fred Aceves, author of The Closest I've Come, and the new David Espinoza, David Bowles, they call me Güero, and also the Chupacabras of Rio Grande, Amy Medina, author of The River of Love, Angela Cervantes. She's written Gabby Lost and Found, which is another book that's really important, and it's also it's about a girl who's looking for a home for a cat, and the whole time she's actually really looking for a home for herself. It's a really good book too. Carlton Trujillo, author of Fat Angie, Adriana Cervantes, The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez, Guadalupe Garcia McCall. She's got all her books, and her books are not just educational, they also are very meaningful, and they educate us. Very important books. Matt Mendez, Isabel Quintero, Nonieka Ramos, Lilian Rivera, Aida Salazar, Sarah, her last name, I'm always going to butcher it, Scheerger. She wrote Operation Frog Effect. I don't know. I apologize for butchering the last name, but these authors are so amazing, so supportive. I really do admire them, not just their books, but also them as people. The way that they help to pave the road for other people. Again, it's just like that quote that was on my website. Just because they're successful doesn't mean they stop there. They're going to pull other people with them. So yeah, I wish I could have found that one. Oh, here's one. Oh, wow. I have some good news for you guys.
Okay, so this coming from Aaron, Rosemary Brosnan, like the tweet about translating it into Spanish. Hint, hint.
Sorry.
This is coming in from Edgar. Hey, bro, mom wants you to know that she is watching and to tell you she's proud of you. You're a great person, a great son, and deserve all of your success.
Great. It's gonna make me cry live on TV or live on YouTube.
Well, it's not just YouTube. People are watching it all over Twitter. I'm checking out East-West Literacy right now, and it's you have an amazing following that's happening live at this very moment.
Oh. Thanks, Edgar. We'll talk about that, what you just did later. No, Mom, te quiero mucho. Muchas gracias por todo lo que has hecho. Este libro solamente es posible por ti, por todo lo que has hecho por la familia. Gracias. Any other questions, Michael? Sorry.
I think that's your readers out there, your fans. Everyone has a lot of questions. I'm really glad that you shared your website. I think this was a happy birthday, to EFREN Divided. The work that you've accomplished and the idea that your voice and your words are going to be spoken aloud by hundreds and thousands and millions of readers in the future, I think is awesome. So is there anything you kind of want to close with, or you want to add? Or I know you've done your shout outs and your tears. You promised me you wouldn't, but
yeah, I have to blame my brother for that one. I just want to thank my family too, my wife, my 2 kids. You guys are fantastic. Thank you guys for not thinking that I was insane, trying to follow this dream. After a decade and a half, you think that somebody would have called me out and said, you know what, this might not be happening. You might want to call it quits. And you guys never did that. You guys were always there for me. So I really appreciate it. All my students out there, again, Si se puede is Cesar Chavez Day. And you guys all know his famous quote, Si se puede. If this guy can do it, and remember, I grew up in Santa Ana too. This is where I was born. Went to Fremont. I went Our Lady Pilar, Santa High School. I learned how to drive right there where Mendes is. I learned how to ride my bike there. I got in so much trouble around that same neighborhood. I was running amok when I was your age there. But you know, if this guy can do it, so can you guys. Whatever you guys really want to work hard on, you want to achieve, you guys can do it. So with that being said, thank you, Michael, for being here. Really appreciate it. All my students, all the authors, everybody who attended. Again, I'm humbled by the amount of support that you guys have given me and this book, and I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Ernesto.
All right, everybody. Adios. Take care, and thank you for joining me. Appreciate it.